Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this is Pastor J. Ajibabi Wallo, and you are watching like Stock Liberia on the Action Require Media platform. It is always a great pleasure to be with you, and I want to bless God for each and every one of you. I'm trusting that you had a great week. This week has been a very busy week as it relates to things that are happening in our country. And so today we are here to talk about our country, Liberia, and to just keep you updated and informed about things that are going on in the country. And so we want to bless God that we are here. We are moving towards the Christmas season, and we are in prayer with you that your Christmas will be great. You will celebrate Christmas, but you will remember the reason for the Christmas. But we want to welcome you wherever you are watching us from. Please share our video. Today we'll be talking about very important issues, as always. Before we go to our scripture reference today that we got our conversation, let me just acquaint you with what we will be talking about today. We'll talk about the the sanction that was announced against Nima County Senator Prince Y. Johnson. We will talk about that today. We'll also talk about the Liberty Party issues that are going on in the party. We have that on our talking point list. We will be able to mention something about that. There are very good information that you need to acquaint yourself with that we will be telling you about concerning the Liberty Party issue. And then we will also briefly mention the refusal of Mary Broad to attend the invitation by the Liberian House of Representatives, and you will not believe what her excuse was. So we will also talk something about that. And then finally today, by the grace of God, we will also talk about the newest presidential candidate in the race. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new presidential candidate who just entered to run for the presidency of Liberia in 2023. So the 2023 race is getting interesting. Is something that you need to acquaint yourself with. You to know these candidates so that you will make an informed decision when it comes to you casting your vote. So we will talk about all of those issues in the show today. While I wait for the rest of the panelists to join me, uh, today for our question, and we would appreciate for you to respond to the question. Today's question will be, what should other Liberian leaders learn from the recent sanction placed on Senator Prince White Johnson of Nima County? We want to hear your thoughts on this question. Send us your text message. Let us know, what other Liberians leaders can learn from this sanction that was announced by the United States Treasury Department against senior senator of Nima County, Senator Prince White Johnson. So let me read the question again. The question is, what should other Liberian leaders learn from the recent sanction placed on Senator Prince White Johnson of Nima County? We will appreciate your thought on that question. So as I indicated earlier, that this week was a very, very busy week. It was busy in terms of happenings in our country. We are not able to get to every other thing, everything that happened this week. We are not able to talk about the national budget today. We have that on our radar. We will talk about that uh, in the future. But these are the things that we want to focus on today. But please, we want you to also send us your text message what you think about our question today. Again, the question is, what should other Liberian leaders learn from recent sanction placed on Senator Prince White Johnson of Nima County? While you are thinking about that, I'm going to read our scripture today that are going to guide our conversation today. And then we're going to bring in the rest of our panelists. But it's great to be with you. Thank you for following us. Please share our video, uh, give us a thumbs up, like our video. We would appreciate it if you can share our video. Um, so again, our question that we want you to respond to is, what should other Liberian leaders learn from the recent sanction placed on Senator Prince White Johnson of Nima County? And the scripture that are going to be guiding our conversation today is Exodus chapter 20. I think this is a perfect scripture for what we will be talking about today. Um, and I want to commence reading from verse 12. It says, honor your father and your mother, so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. That is the portion that I want us to take away today. Exodus chapter 20, verse 15 says, you shall not steal. And verse 16 says, you shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. This is a very interesting time. And we want to use this uh, this passage of scripture to guide our conversation today, right? But to just briefly, say something about the text or the passage. This is what we consider to be the Ten Commandments. And these commandments were given to Moses to give to the nation of Israel. So these commandments were given to a nation, right? God is establishing the nation of Israel. He is not establishing a religion. So this commandment was not given to a religion. They were given to a nation, the nation of Israel, given to Moses to give to the children of Israel. One of the things, among the many things that God said in these laws to the nation of Israel, is you shouldn't steal. So he said it should be prohibited for you to steal. So you should not steal. It is not, it is not okay, it is not normal, I would say, for stealing to be common among people that consider themselves to be children of God. When God Himself said that stealing should be prohibited, not just among us as God's children, but for us as a nation, for us as Liberians. The word of God says stealing shouldn't be named or mentioned among us. See, what we consider to be corruption is stealing. The ordinary Liberians do it, and we punish them for it, right? If they are caught, sometimes they are beaten publicly, they are disgraced publicly, and sometimes, police apprehend them, take them to jail, and they don't even have a fair trial in court. The ordinary Liberians, right? The ones we call Zokos, which of course I don't like to call them that name, but to just, make you to understand what I'm talking about. When they do it, they are disgraced publicly. Why we do that? Because it should not be acceptable among us as Liberians. When your children do it, you punish them for it. Why? Because you don't want them to consider stealing to be a normal routine. You punish them because you don't want them to repeat that act. So we all were raised with this basic, basic virtue, or this basic law from the scripture that says we shouldn't steal. Why should stealing be so normal in our society? Why should stealing be so acceptable in our society? Ordinary Liberians do it. We beat them publicly. But when government officials do it, we don't say anything about it. In fact, the word we use for it is, the either corrupt or the embezzle. We use fancy words for it, but that's stealing. That is a criminal act. But something else, though, that I want us to also understand, though, is that whether you were caught in the act or not, this is not, laws that originate from human beings. This is God's laws. And nothing is hidden from the Lord. When you do it in the secret and you are not caught, God sees you. And it is never okay. It shouldn't be acceptable in our society for us to punish certain group of people, and then we give a pass to other group of Liberians, regardless their status in society. If something is wrong, it is wrong. Most especially when the Bible says something is wrong, it is wrong. So it is about time that we as a nation we become very, very straight up on this issue of corruption. We shouldn't accept and allow other people to do it for us. We have to do it. We have to take the lead. And that's why I continue to call on all of you who are God's children that are serving in public offices. You are representing your faith. You are representing what you believe. You cannot be like everyone else. You cannot do things as usual. No, you are guided and governed by a higher law, the law of God. And so you cannot do just anything. Ordinary people can do it, but it shouldn't be named among us as God's children. But again, sad to say, our society is so corrupted that every part of our society, that is corruption. In the home, in the communities, in the church, businesses, everywhere, government, everywhere. There is corruption everywhere. There is corruption everywhere. There is stealing everywhere. And the first laws that God gave to the children of Israel was these laws. Among them, God says, you shouldn't steal. I don't know how simple can I put this? It can just be a normal thing among us. Someone once said to me that corruption has become a culture in Liberia. And when you look at our society, that is true. Corruption cannot be a culture for us. It's like someone is saying stealing is, if it's a lifestyle for Liberians. We shouldn't accept that. We shouldn't accept that. And so this is a very interesting time. And with all of us, our involvement and the way we talk about issues like that will actually bring to light what should be accepted and what we shouldn't accept. Because even as we go towards the 2023 elections, there are a lot of people that will be spending a lot of money not to give Liberian change, but to do things as usual. The same corruption. This has been issue we have struggled with over and over and over again. But we keep going back to the same old issue. And so I think it is time for us, to rethink our values, to rethink what we value the most, to rethink about people that, we give our confidence to lead our country. We have to rethink that because we as a society, we cannot and we shouldn't accept stealing to be a normal way of life for us as Liberians. We shouldn't accept that. It shouldn't be okay for us because the word of God is against us stealing. So, I just wanted to put this out there why, we why I wait for the rest of the panelists to join me. And I want to read this again. For those of you that are just joining us, I want to read this again. Verse 12, Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Say, honor your father and your mother so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. You should not murder. You should not commit adultery. You should not steal. You should not give false testimony against your neighbor. These are just basic laws that we, need to live. We need to adapt. I want you as a Liberian to hold yourself responsible for, what you do. But these are laws that we need to adapt in our public life, right? Every one of us, most especially when I says we shouldn't steal. And this is the passage that I'm going to guide our conversation today. And again, I just want to, acquaint you with what we'll be talking about today. We'll be talking about the sanction that was announced against Nima County Senator Prince Y. Johnson. And also, we will talk about the Liberty Party. There's a lot of things going on with the Liberty Party. We're going to talk about, what is going on with the party and the press conference that was held just today by the political leader of Liberty Party. We will talk about that. We want to get your reaction as well, and we will also talk about the new presidential candidate who just entered the race. Yes, we have a new presidential candidate that just entered the race. You will know his name. We will give you a little information about who he is, and to just tell you that, as we move towards 2023, the conversation about who becomes the next president of Liberia, is getting interesting. And I'm happy to see good Liberians, well rounded, well, you know, you know, good Liberians, are getting in a race, to appeal to our people to, make their case to the Liberian people why they should be the one to lead our country. And then also we'll talk about Maryborough refusal to show up at the invitation of the House of Representatives. And you will hear the excuse that she gave for not showing up. Fascinating. But to get your response on our show today, we want you to please send out a text message responding to this question. What should other Liberian leaders learn from the recent sanction placed on Senator Prince Y. Johnson of Nima County? You can send us your text. You can send out your text message, and we will be happy throughout the conversation. Minister Kroma going to read out the text message. We want to hear from you. But in the meantime, I want you to please share our video. Please share our video. I'm trying to do that right now. In the meantime, let me share it. But these are the things we'll be talking about today, and we are excited to be here with you. Thank you for joining us. Just give me a second. Let me share this video. Um, yeah, okay. Well, thank you. So again, our question for today, and we want you to please respond with a text message. What should other Liberian leaders learn from the recent sanction placed on Senator Prince Y. Johnson of Nima County? So let me begin with the Maryborough issue. So in our previous discussion, we talked about, this Maryborough issue, how she was, appointed by the mayor of Morovia, Mayor Kochi, to head a committee, uh, citizen engagement committee. She is the head of that committee. And what the committee is supposed to do, as I understand it, is that to help clean up the city for the Bassetena program, right? They want to give the city a facelift. And I think one of the reasons that the mayor of Morovia uh, appointed her to this post is because of her record of, cleaning Morovia when she was the city mayor. But I personally have some issue with her because number one, Maryborough does not respect our institutions. She does not respect, our institutions in Liberia. And two, she does not respect Liberians. She violates Liberians' rights. She will grab anybody, beat you in the street. She will sometimes, you know, order her tax folks to just, violate the rights of Liberians. She does that all the time. And the sad thing about it is that nobody say anything to her. So recently, when she was appointed, there was a communication on the floor of the House of Representatives about what she was doing to Liberians. She will put people in handcuffs, will beat people in the street, and that was not okay. So she was invited, right? She was invited to explain, who gave her that authority to treat Liberians that way. But guess what? She refused. to attend, or she refused to show up uh, at the Capitol building. The day she's supposed to show up, she gathered her folks. She dressed in like a country club stuff like, and she showed up at the gate of the the Capitol building, and they were chanting, they were singing that the Capitol building is dirty. Mary Broad will clean up the Capitol building, right? That was the song they were singing, that the Capitol building is dirty, that they need to clean up the Capitol building, and that Mary Broad will help them to clean up the Capitol building. The day she's supposed to show up, she did not show up, but she gathered people and they were chanting, singing that the Capitol building, our nation's Capitol building, is dirty and that they should clean up the place. Now, any rational person will say or will, understand that Mary Broad did not show up, you know, to the invitation of the Liberian House of Representatives because, number one, she does not respect them. She does not respect them. But two, because the Capitol building is dirty, she doesn't want to enter into a place that is dirty. So she will not go there. And so she refused to go. But she was right before the Capitol building, chanting and shouting that the Capitol building is dirty, they should clean it. But her excuse now is that she did not show up to the invitation because of medical issue. Can you believe that? Mary Brother was seen in front of the Capitol building, chanting, singing that the Capitol building is dirty. She said that because of medical reasons, that's why she did not show up. Well, let me welcome Minister Kruman. Minister Kruman, God bless you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Pastor Wallo.
Yeah. And so, so Mary Bro, she did not show up. She said she cited uh medical reasons. But again, I'm not buying it. She's not sick. There is no medical reasons. She just don't respect the House of Representatives. She does not respect our institutions. She's rude. She's arrogant, and she does not respect anybody in Liberia. You know, Minister Kroman, I think you've been following what I'm talking about. I'm starting with the Marlboro issue. We talked about that in our previous discussions. Um, yeah, she was invited. She refused to show up. Now for she's citing that she did not show up because of medical reasons. What do you make of that? Are you hearing me, Mr. Kruma? Mr. Kruma, can you hear me? Okay, Minister Kruma is not hearing me. Maybe it's the internet. Oh, yeah. Mr. Kruma, can you hear me? Okay, Minister Kruma, going to fix his internet. But here, so while I wait the rest of the panelists, please respond to uh, our question. What should other Liberian leaders learn from the recent sanction placed on Senator Prince Y. Johnson of Nima County? You can send us a text message, and throughout the program, uh, we're going to read your text messages. But you can have your say. All right. So yeah. Anyways, I'm back. So yeah, that is the Mirrorboro issue. So for me, I'm not buying it. The reason she did not show up again, as I indicated, is because she does not respect our institutions. She does not respect, our laws. She does not respect Liberians, and she has no regard for anybody. Okay, and so she's not she although she's citing medical reasons, but wait and see if she will ever show up, to the invitation of the representatives of the people, the people's house, the people's representative invited her. She did not show up. Wait and see if she will ever show up. But that's who she is. That's what has always happened. And it is just sad for us to do that. Anyways, let me welcome my co-panelist, uh, Mr. Singh. God bless you. Thank you for being here, Minister Krumman as well. Uh,
Thank you.
it is good to see every one of you. I was just talking about the mirror broad issue, but I will ask you of your opinion about that. But I want us to go to one of the major issues that I want us to talk about today, uh, and it has to do with the recent sanction that was announced by the United States Treasury Department against the Nima County Senator Prince Y. Johnson. Uh, so, uh, and with Sengbe, I'm going to begin with you. Uh, when you heard that, what was your initial reaction to the news about Senator Johnson being sanctioned by the United States Treasury Department? What was your initial reaction to that news?
Uh, my initial reaction was that yes, in as much as people will respond and say it's about time, I said to myself, "Oh my God!" At this time and age, for one of the smallest and poorest country in on this planet to have been singled out by the American government and such an action taken means that it's certainly important to the rest of the world as to what happens to the issue of human rights. And I was not as surprised as many others because earlier this week, President Biden spoke lengthily on the issue of democracy, knowing our long-term history or relationship with the United States, it was inevitable that Liberia was going to be considered in his speech and that some action was going to be taken. So that was my initial. But, as we go on into the conversation, I think we will get deeply into our reaction in more detail. But my reaction was that, wow, like everybody else, it's about time that something happens with the country and the name Liberia,
Mr.
especially
Ackerman,
something that has to do with the with global issue.
uh, Mr. Ackerman, what's your take? What's your initial reaction when you got it news?
Well, first, I was actually shocked. I was surprised, and because of that, I've been following ever since. But let me just take this time to salute Brother Moses. There, you look like new money. but yeah, uh, I was actually shocked, and I kind of started I started weighing my question as, and I started observing some, or I started noticing some level of hypocrisy from the U.S. side. But like as we dive into the conversation, then I will express why I felt that way. I started noticing some level of hypocrisy coming from the U.S. to be sanctioning Prince Johnson at this time. The timing for me, and one question that came to mind for me, and I will ask is the we are led government now, are they in good standing with the U.S.? So those are some of the questions that came into mind to play. But yeah, as we dive into the conversation more deeper, then I can express, you know, what my position,
Well, let's just get into it, okay? Because we
Yeah,
don't have time to waste, right? Okay,
yeah.
so let me just, for our viewers, it's on the screen. Let me just tell you the reasons the U.S. and Treasury Department sanctioned Honorable Prince White Johnson. So the first thing they said is that he has been involved in paid for
Pay to play.
play,
Yeah.
right? And then the next thing that was cited was that he received undeserved salary for intelligence reporting. Apparently, he's supposed to be giving intelligence to the Liberian government, but according to them, he is getting that salary, but he is not reporting any intelligence. And the
Well,
third
one of
thing
the
that
other
was,
thing is that on the Senate, he chairs that committee for intelligence.
yeah, he used to chair it, but he's not a chair anymore.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
he used to chair it, but he's not a chair anymore. And
okay,
the third thing that was cited was that uh, he is paid to maintain domestic stability.
okay.
And the
So
fourth one was,
go ahead.
and, and the fourth was that he offers sale of votes for the exchange of money. So on Rosanna, I'm going to begin with I want us to talk about each of these things, right?
Okay,
Let's take it one at a time because and I want people to understand, what is actually involved in this kind of indictment on Senator Johnson,
okay,
for they themselves to be able to evaluate whether it is, whether it's a fair indictment, whether it's a fair sanction or not. So let's talk about the first one, right? Pay for play, right?
okay. Now, let me just say this first and foremost that when you read these commentaries, they're different from who's reporting. Also, as I reviewed the document from the U.S. Embassy, it talks about the Joe Biden action established in June of 2021 to fight against corruption as a core national security interest. Okay, so that's what I'm reading from there. The other piece is that the four reasons why supposedly that he was singled out, it's only for my own assessment and estimation that's only the beginning. But there are a lot of other people who might follow later on. Um, for Prince Johnson, I'm not sure who's paying him for this pay for play, and we don't know what that income is coming from. So for me, I'm looking to be objective in that respect, to wait and get more detail about where he's receiving their pay for play. He has gotten involved with a lot of things. We know that in the last election that he requested money to support the administration. And that deal went on in Nigeria. And after he lost the election, after he was not one of the viable candidates in the first round, he made deals. And people literally gave him money. And he went out later on and demanded the rest of the money. And said they didn't give him the money, he was not going to follow through on the deal. So this guy Mafia put him in himself. The human rights report, the recent human rights report. There were things mentioned in there about the corrupt practices of some of these officials. And not to mention, they talk about, when they talk about Prince Johnson, he's been labeled as a warlord as well. So all of these things in play is trying to Prince Johnson.
Okay. Let me, Minister Kroma, before
He's
you,
gone.
okay, Minister Kroma, before you
Hello?
respond, let me just read something from the indictment or from the sanction. Yeah, it
Mister,
says
can
it
you hear
says
me?
Yeah, bro, Moses, your phone is static and for some reason, if
yeah
you want to
you
log out and come back in, yeah, we're not getting you clear.
you yeah your speech is breaking in.
You see me?
Yeah, you're frozen right now. Your screen is frozen. If you can log out, come back in. There you go. Go ahead,
Okay,
Pastor.
so Minister Kroma, let me read this real quickly. Why Rambo simply try to readjust himself. Okay, Mr. Wade, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. What happened earlier?
Okay. No, you was
Yeah, we
sticking.
weren't
You
hearing
were,
you.
you were frozen, and your speech was breaking in. But let me read this real quickly. It says
Okay.
Prince Yomin Johnson is a former warlord and current member of the Liberian Senate. He is the former chairman of the Senate Committee on National Security, Defense,
Yep.
Intelligence, and Veterans Affairs. Uh, as a senator, Johnson has been involved in pay-for-play funding with government ministries and organizations for personal enrichment. As part of that scheme, upon receiving funding from the government of Liberia, the involved government ministries and organizations render a portion of the funding for return to the involved participants. The pay for play funding scheme involves millions of United States dollars. Now, that's what was quoted in the indictment. Now, my question here is, Minister Kuma, you're going to respond, but I want for someone to come in with this one. My question here is, now the indictment is saying that he is involved with government ministries, and the scheme that they are involved with, it involves millions of US dollars. Why is he singled out? Why not other people? He is not doing this alone. Why he is the only person that has been singled out in this indictment? I'm assuming that was your question.
Oh, that's for me.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I know that and I refer to the human rights report again, and I'm looking at the very statement the quote you just read. Uh, and I think it talked about also offer the sales of votes in multiple Liberian elections, and that I mentioned earlier. I think that was the end, and that the scam. I don't know what ministries are involved, but I think they're going to be investigating, and I can't wait to see the evidence that they have to, because we know that in the early administration, the Ministry of Planning and Finance was merged, and whoever is seated in there has the authority over the funding, distribution of funding, and what have you. So I'm not sure what kind of funding they're referring to that is coming through the ministries and organization for personal enrichment. There are a lot of people there who's spending government money for personal enrichment. To single him out at this time, I think there's evidence, and in the states, in America, when they're taking action on you, they must have had serious investigation for a long time, and they must have enough evidence that would satisfy the probable cause or their indictment. And I think they've gone and did their homework and have done a lot of work in coming up with this action. But I can tell you, as I stated earlier, I don't think he's going to be the only person. I think this is a wait and see who else they're going to be going after? Who else going to be named in this whole process? And the United States, when they do their investigation, they spend millions and millions of dollars before they take action. And we're talking about the United States government. We're not talking about individual. We're not talking about Moses Segura, Archibald, Wallow. We're talking about the United States. We're talking about serious investment in the investigation and the gathering of evidence before they can take an action. So they must have something that is very convincing. And until we get the detail has not been, given yet. But I think these are, as part of the scam, they do serious investigation when it comes to scams, and that's my own, insert on that.
Yeah. Mr. Kumagan, come in.
Yeah, so like I said in my opening, I smell some level of hypocrisy coming from the U.S. side, and I'll tell you why. But when overall, when I heard this thing, my first question is why now? Why now? The same Prince Johnson had worked with the same American government on this defense intelligence thing where he was the chairperson on the Senate board, and 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 again, I ask, is the we are led government in good standing with the U.S.? Why am I asking? I'm coming from a place where I am thinking that the U.S. is trying to affect 2023, and that's my opinion. That's what I'm thinking, trying to affect 2023 election in some kind of way, and singling Prince Johnson out is a strategic move they are making. When you look at who Prince Johnson is in our elections, the district, who he represents, the people that follow him, and the statement they make in our elections. It's a strategic singling out I think they are doing, and the timing. That's why I ask if this we are led government is in good standing with the US, because whoever the US does not agree with, they come for you. That's for me now. That's how I'm saying it. And again, I could be wrong, but we all know over the years after Civil War, Prince Johnson has been the one who new incoming president look for to stabilize the peace. Whether he gets paid for it or not, we all know Prince Johnson has been trying for the last 4, 5, 6, 7 years to try to stabilize the peace, because people know that okay, this a ex warlord. They don't want him to go back to those old days. So yeah, they're trying to maintain him, whether they pay him or not. But he's been trying his best to stabilize the country in a way. But to single him out now for all these different things, I'm not saying it's right. Let Honorable Moses said, let's wait and see the evidence. But I believe, Pastor Wallo, Brother Moses, that it's a strategic move. There's a message being sent out to the CDC-led government, and I'll leave it at that for now.
Okay, let me just you know add a little bit of my insight to what he just said. The other
Yeah.
piece is that when you say why now, my own assessment and in my estimation, the fact of the matter is that every government that has come into place since the Civil War and after the Civil War have had some kind of policy on Liberia.
Hmm.
So we cannot look at the previous administration and say, why now? We just need to take what is happening now because that shows, and the former administration, their policy in Liberia was not as strong as we see it today.
And they were one of the
So,
most corrupt
so
government.
yeah, and we know that prior to this, we are government, we've seen very light, what you say, policies towards Liberia. Even though they've supported the TRC,
Hmm.
okay, report and they look at what's going on, but it's also left with the folks. I think this also serves as a message to those who participated in the war that are now legislators who are looking to run for re-elections, who supported the civil conflict. Because in the report, it was also mentioned of Mr. Prince Johnson capture of Samuel Doe, okay? And those things have been talked about. I'm not sure what the strategy there is, but I can tell you that, I think we should welcome the idea of what is about to take. And for me, it's a new day in Liberia. So this speaks a loud voice to everyone in government and everyone who's expecting to run for election in 2023, because this gonna set the foundation for measuring who's going to move forward. And I think the Liberian people need to start thinking critically if they have now already started thinking critically with this thing. Because
Okay.
most of our support and our relationship with the U.S., again, I can't emphasize it enough. We get all of anything that we want to move forward has to come from the U.S. because it's been that way for over 170 years.
So I'm going to read a statement from the Washington Post just quickly. Now it says, uh, uh, today on International Anti-Corruption Day, the United States Department of Treasury's Office of Foreign Access Control, AFAC, is targeting 15 individuals and entities across several countries in Central America, Africa, and Europe. So it might be Prince Johnson alone in Liberia, but the indictment was, it was an international indictment. He was not the only person that was indicted. Okay, other individual from different countries was also indicted, but again, when it comes to Liberia, the reason for this sanction, as Minister Kroma was talking about that, he's noticing some kind of bias here with the United States. Now, with the reason, well, gentlemen, the reason I put this on the screen is for us to look at these things critically, right? All of the things that are being said about Senator Johnson involves the people that govern the state. Why is the government not being indicted but Prince Johnson? I mean, we all know Senator Johnson had his role in the war. We all know that. But that is not the reason he's been sanctioned here. The reason he's been sanctioned is number one, pay for play; two, receives salary for undeserved
Intelligence for corruption.
intelligence reporting; three, he's been paid to maintain domestic stability; four, he sell votes. There are a lot of people that do this stuff in Liberia,
Yeah.
and they are not common people. They are in high places in our country. I understand the point you are making that this might be the beginning, okay, of many other names that might come up. But why wait? Why not just go in it once and for all? Why wait to bring out this name one at a time?
Because when you put these cases together, when you're looking to do these things and certain and setting something as a deterrent, and you just read the thing for the national poll from the what you call it, the Post, that talk about the anti-corruption day. So they know this is not single. This is not single to Liberia. It's around the world, and they're doing that. So now, by virtue of them identifying one person in Liberia, means that their attention is in Liberia. By identifying one person in Nigeria, means that their attention is in Nigeria as well. So they cannot indict everybody in Liberia and forget about the other people. So I believe there's a strategy here.
You
I'm
know,
saying we want to put Liberia on the map, and the single person that we can prove at this time and have enough evidence on is Prince Johnson. And I can assure you, my brother, there, there are a lot more to come. Believe me. And sometimes in some of these investigation tactics and stuff like that, they'll pick the weakest link. And you know how Prince Johnson talks plenty. So I can't wait to hear his reaction and how he's going to be singing as they see it. They say it in the prison system. Once you catch one person, they start singing, they start cooperating with the investigation, start naming everybody, and start doing some stuff. And say this person did it, that person did it, and we got evidence. I was here with that person, and all of that. So his indictment might bring everybody, a lot of other people, to the table
All right.
that they couldn't get information on.
Mr. Okroma, before you come in, let me quickly
Yeah.
say that let me welcome if you are just joining us. About today's question we want you to respond to through via text message is what should other Liberian leaders learn from the recent sanction placed on Senator Prince White Johnson of Nima County? We'll get your text messages as we go on with the show. Minister Kruma going to read your response to the question. Go ahead, Minister Kruma.
Yeah. So I would just put it out there like this, right? And Brother Moses, please help me out. You know who the U.S. If the U.S. does not have interest in you, they will not go after you. That's what we know now at this point. If the U.S. has an interest in you, in your country, then they start digging, and it will play to their benefit. But then one of the things that I want us to look at critically is this thing could fall in two ways. You sanction this guy, now then you coming after him. I know the Prince Johnson that I know that grown up to study about to know is one who his people are very loyal to him. So I don't know how you would catch him except maybe outside the country if it goes to that far. Except you cannot even come into this country into Liberia and say you come and get that guy. Because the people now, what if there's the people of Neymar, try to revolute against? I mean, to strike against that. These are some of the things I'm looking at. But Brother Moses, for of all that you've known about this CDC government, is the CDC government in good standing? And Pastor Wallo, you help me. Is the CDC government in good standing with America? Because there's a question I would like to be answered, but you help me out with this one. This CDC government, is it in good standing with America? If somebody can help me, please.
Well,
Well,
I'm having problem with my phone and it's going terrible. I can't even get a charger
Yeah.
to work. But anyway, I don't know what question is that. The first thing is that I'm not sure even if a government of a foreign nation can be in good standing with the United States. I think the United States policy is generally for the country. And that I understand the question you're asking, but to get up and answer the question and say, I don't think so, would be not objectively thinking. And the fact of the matter is that, take for instance, when Ellen became president, she was invited to the U.S. She met with the then president, and she
Right.
spoke to the
Right.
joint session of Congress. When Charles Taylor was president, they refused to allow him.
Yeah. They never
Up to this
give you
time,
invitation.
has not received any invitation.
All right.
That should
Okay.
give you an overall, you know, example
Yeah. Clue.
of what's going on. Now we got these people coming here and they're talking about recently the CDC led government by Josh Weir and whoever hired a lobbyist from South Carolina who was a former state representative here, Baraka. And I can tell you that he was going to try to make good with the CDC government. Up to now, how long has it been? 4, 5, 6 months? We have not seen anything moving. And this guy is being paid how much money? About $20,000 a month to lobby for Liberia, from what we heard. We don't know how true that is, but there's no action there. So that goes to those are things that you need to take into account to see if the CDC led government. We came, he was restricted to New York City until he went back, and Liberian presidents before have always come here with the exception of Charles Taylor and went from place to place and traveled throughout the states. And we don't see that with the CDC led government. Some of the people come, Jefferson Koji coming, city mayor coming to go speak to people on behalf of the country. It doesn't make sense. And these are people that are not on the radar. They're trying to see if they can manipulate. But government operation in Liberia is not the same as government operation in the U.S. So you can't come here and things that you're doing in Liberia and think you can just go to anybody's office and say, I want to speak with them, and they allow you to come in and speak. And most of our leaders out of Liberia think they can do that. When they come here, we need to find out that it's not as simple as just that. You have to have schedule a meeting and a time, and it has to be at the convenience of you and the person you're meeting with before you can even, that meeting has to be confirmed. If it's not confirmed, you can't see no one. So to answer your question without saying all of these things is that you can judge for yourself.
Yeah,
Things that
you
have happened
can.
in the past where other administration is not happening with the CDC government.
The
Look,
U.S. is not being fair in this case. I come and pass over in 1 second. But at the end of the day, this could either go in two ways where it might not go well for the U.S. and exposing them for the hypocrisy, or it's going to be a long fight. It's going to be a long fight. Go ahead,
Well,
Pastor Wallo.
let me just tell you something. I don't know when you say fair
Yeah,
what you mean when you say fair. U.S. is not being fair. In this document, it said there were 15 countries including included in this thing.
yeah,
So I'm not sure what
yeah.
you mean when you say fair. Number one. Number
Let
two is that the U.S. Government is the government that runs the world. Seriously, I can tell you that.
and
So
they're the most corrupt country
they
in the
play
world
the
anyway. But that's
games.
a different argument for a different day.
Well, I don't
Go ahead.
know. I don't know. But the US survives anything you see. Anything that comes to it. Look at the recent thing with the coronavirus, how it was handled. The former leader did not pay attention to it, and the situation exacerbated to the point that people, thousands and hundreds of thousands of people were dying. Now what we have is been minimized because it's the most powerful nation in the world. Believe it or not. And I can tell you,
Yeah. Pick, picking
the
picking on the
U.S.
little ones that can't
judicial
defend themselves.
system, well, the
no,
U.S. the U.S. Let me just say this, then I won't say nothing. The U.S. criminal justice, because this is an indictment and a sanction. Criminal justice system in the U.S. is the best in the world, but it's not perfect. It is the best in the world, but it's not perfect. I'll leave it as that.
well, so I think Minister Krumah, I I understand where you're coming from with with the comments you are making. Um, but yeah, it's it though. Yeah, it's it. Um, for any administration in Liberia, any administration in Liberia to get a good relationship with the United States government is so simple. So simple. Do the right thing. Just do the right thing. You see, there is one thing to win an election, but what you do with the win is another thing,
And
right?
to govern.
Right. The Weir administration, they had a vibrant, a very good opportunity. Okay. People say a lot of things about Josh Weir. People said a lot of things about him. It is not what people said that make it true. It's what he did after he became president. So, in my view, right? The Weah administration, they are struggling with their relationship with the United States government. The reason that is because they are not doing the right thing. Listen, we were talking
Pastor Wallo,
about $17 billion getting missing.
Ellen was not doing the right thing
Go.
either. Ellen was not doing half of the right thing either. Look at her children that benefited from all of these different
Oh,
institutions.
oh, oh, oh,
No, no, no. But Minister Kruma, I don't want us to frame the conversation that way. Not because Ellen
Right.
Johnson did not do X, Y, Z. So other people that follow they should do similar thing. Because to be honest with you,
I honestly,
to be honest with you, I might have a very good relationship with you. I might not have that good relationship with Honorable Singbe. There are things you might do because of my relationship with you. I might overlook, but he might do something similar thing that you do. I might not overlook it because of my relationship with him. Okay, Ellen Johnson's relationship with the then administration, you can compare that with presidents. We have relationship with with this present administration. We shouldn't frame the conversation that way, because because Ellen Johnson is different. President Weah is different. Her relationship with the people that were in office or power at that time is quite different from the relationship that President Weah had with these people. So we cannot frame the conversation that way. All I would say is do the right thing. Please do the right thing. And your relationship with the United States will be cordial. It will be awesome. You don't even have to struggle. Just do the right thing. I don't think that is too much to ask. For every Liberian president or administration to do the right thing, because we have such a unique historical tie with the United States, and it pains me for any Liberian president or any Liberian administration, government administration, to struggle with having a good relationship with the United States. It's just hurtful because it is supposed to be that way. And I think we should transition from that. From that's why we should take our elections very seriously. We will make our president, because we shouldn't struggle with having a good relationship with the United States. And this administration, the President we are administration, they are struggling. Honestly, they are struggling. But let's
Well,
move.
let me just say this real quick. My thing is that the whole government in Liberia started to struggle before Ellen left, and when Weah came in, he didn't do anything to help the situation either. You remember when Ellen was first elected, she was given the red carpet when she came here. She was given the red carpet. She spoke with the joint session of Congress. She appealed to the United States government to be the strong advocate for forgiving the debt of the country of Liberia, and America committed to it, and that process was underway until we heard that Liberia was debt free, and it took other international communities. She was accepted all over the place. Ellen was liver one of the most powerful women in the world, 10th most powerful women, among the 10 most powerful women in the world. After her first tenure of office, we didn't hear the kind of thing that people thought about her. That kind of respect started to dwindle a little bit because of some of the things that people working for her started to do. Some of the things that people anticipated that Liberia was going to take a route post-war didn't happen. In fact, the 2011 report from the UN condemned the whole security sector after the first 5 to 6 years of Ellen's administration. And it didn't come from it came from the UN. The departure of ECOWAS, of ECOMO, folks out of the country who were providing most of the security for Ellen at the time, and the kind of money that was spent to build the security system. And, so when we talk about some of these things, sometimes let's go back and reflect on how it started, how it got to here. because if we don't do that, then we don't know where we're going. So any government coming in, that's what people who running, and like you guys said earlier, the 2023, all of these actions now will have a serious impact on 2023. That means people who running need to be watchful. That the United States, who's our biggest allies, is watching to see. So if you put your name on the ballot, you better be able to sit down and, because yes, they want to change the trajectory and change the lifestyle of the people. They're talking basic human rights are not being attended to by the government right now. Basic
So,
human rights.
yeah,
So
because of time, we have to transition to
yeah,
something else. But before we
I'm
do
sorry for
that,
that.
right? Before we do that, let me just get a last word from you, from Minister Kuma. Um, you did mention about the 2023 elections. With this sanction on Senator Johnson, um, how do you think that going to impact his chances of being re-elected senator of Nima County? And then also, do you think it would be a good idea for him to, as indicated in the indictment, for him to continue to put Nima County vote out there for sale?
Well, I can tell you the sanction I think is directed to him so that those processes can stop immediately. I would not see Prince Johnson getting up and trying to sell vote anymore. If he knows what's right for him, he would not do it. Because when we talk about sanctions, sanctions are effective. Believe me when I tell you, sanctions are effective, and people might think otherwise. For him to be singled out and to send a strong message to the rest of the folks. Anyone who did business with Prince Johnson, if you go back to do business with him, you're in trouble. In fact, the legislators now, I would suspect that the Judicial Committee, I would hope that the Judicial Committee, the Senate Judiciary, will start an immediate probe and see what needs to happen for the U.S. to put a sanction on a single senator. They send a message to them all that you need to start taking action.
And,
If they
and
if they identify these things, then the Judicial Committee needs to investigate and see if they find any evidence this guy should be kicked off the Senate. Period.
Minister Kuma, I'm going to give you the last word, but let me say this. To me, I think it is a shame that we have to wait for the United States Treasury Department to 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 you know uh,
Single
tell
out one of our own.
how corrupt our government officials are. It's a shame that we are not able to deal with the issue of corruption. Before you guys came on, the scripture that I had today that for our discussion is Exodus chapter 20, verse 15, where
Mm.
God gave it is actually the Ten Commandments, where God said, "Thou shalt not steal." Okay, don't steal. Simple as that. Don't steal. How can we be a society, you know, and glorified corruption? How can we be a society that says we respect God and we know God and we love God and do things that are contrary to our very faith? Don't steal. Common
Oh
Liberians,
my
ordinary
God, this
Liberians
battery
do
here,
it.
man. This thing
They
is
are
killing me.
humiliated. They are publicly disgraced. They are beaten in the street. But officials in government do it, and we give them a pass. But we expect strangers, we expect the United States government to come and do what we're supposed to do for ourselves. I think it is a shame, and we can't continue to operate like that as a country. Okay, corruption cannot be a way of life. It cannot be a lifestyle. We should denounce it. We should speak against it. And again, I appeal to all God's children. When you are given an opportunity to serve, whether it's in the public, whether it's in a public office or in a private, wherever you are given an opportunity to serve. Please make a difference. Please make the difference, right? Don't steal. Don't take what is not yours. Don't corrupt the system. And Minister Kuman, this speaks to the system we have. Our system is so corrupted that it needs to be changed. And we cannot ask the people that have corrupted the system to change the system. We have to look up to ourselves, every Liberian, to do that. Because corruption in government, but yet and still there's corruption in the family, there's corruption in the church, there's corruption in the society, in the community. Corruption is everywhere. We have to change this. This is not good for our country. It doesn't speak well for us as a people. I give you the last word.
Pastor, why I agree with you with everything that you said. I just piggyback to your question that you asked. I don't think this sanction, and I will want all Liberian officials in or incoming should take this sanction seriously because, like we all said on this platform, that the U.S. is up to something. So we definitely, I mean, our officials need to take it serious. But I don't think it will affect Prince Johnson's chances of being re-elected. And that's my opinion. I don't think so. Given the statement he's made in Nimba County, being the godfather for politics, being the godfather of that land. After Civil War, the people voted for him immensely, massively. Sanction, I don't think it will diminish his chances of being re-elected. Again, I could be wrong, but that's the way things are. Let's wait and see the facts. Let's wait and see the evidence. But I just smell a different rat coming from the American side, and they are trying to affect 2023 big time in favor of who I don't know, but I think the CDC led government should sharpen its sword and that all these different eyes to find out why at this time, why this time, and they should follow it to the teeth. And
Let me
I'm
just
not satisfied with this, but I think there's some kind of politics behind all of everything that I'm saying now. Go ahead, Brother Moses.
yeah, let me just say this real quick based on what he just said. If if the Liberian people sit back and allowed this sanction not to be of any value to their action in the future and ignore it, it will come back hard to hunt the entire nation of Liberia. That's my own assessment, my brother. Okay? The people, I don't care
Right.
whether he godfather or he godmother or he wow, those people need to sit down and think about the impact. I mean, I don't think they're smart enough. I think that's why we're having this conversation. They need to deduce from this that this is the highest that this is going to go, and that some action needs to take place, and that people, and that's what I just said, that
I agree. I agree.
Even the Senate, need to start taking action, whether the people want it or not.
Right.
The Senate has
Right.
the power to respond to such. Now we know that Senate has been a quasi. They don't. We hear what they do, but I tell you what,
They don't follow through.
if they don't wake up themselves and start doing some things to set the record straight
A
on
lot
this
more names will
section,
be mentioned. Yeah.
a lot of them going to be in serious trouble. And if
Yes, sir.
Liberian people
Yes, sir.
themselves don't rise up and start taking some action against this kind of corrupt practices, especially so that the greatest country in the world has singled out one person, and it doesn't come as a lesson to the Liberian people to start taking some action. and getting down the street or asking for the removal of this man, we're in some deep, I don't care who it is. And I can tell
Moses.
you from being here, let me say this real quick. This is a very important topic. America has no interest in Liberian politics, from my own estimation. They have no interest in it because the politics in Liberia will not affect America, cannot affect America in any way, shape, or form. There is interest there. It's been a country that have been tied to the United States for a long, long time. We've had our ups and our downs, but I can tell you, this cannot be happening because of political reason or support for any, and I'll say here first, for backing any candidate in Liberia. I don't see the Biden government doing that because this is from the State Department and the Treasury Department under the Biden administration. What Biden is trying to do is to send the message around so that people, my brother, one of the things he's doing, guess who he just had the democracy thing with when he was talking? He's single of China and Russia. Who do we have in Liberia right now? China. The Chinese. Very important. Those are things we need to take into account. Very important. We got a bunch of those Chinese people. Who are there?
Yeah. And what
I'll
I wanted
end
to
right
add,
there.
what
Thank
I
you.
wanted to add to what you were saying is that is this. Senator Johnson is not the first senator to be sanctioned in a Liberian Senate. Vanis Sherman was sanctioned. Okay, Vanis Sherman was sanctioned. So and he stayed in the Senate. Senate did not investigate him.
Who sanctioned Vani Sherman?
The U.S. Treasury Department.
Okay. Where is he today?
He
But
stayed in
Eddie
the
did
Senate.
something. They did something.
He stayed in the Senate.
Yeah, but he wasn't there before.
What do you mean he wasn't there before?
He has not been continuously in the Senate, has he?
But he's still in the Senate.
Well, when did he get elected to the Senate? And when was he
I don't remember
sanctioned?
the year, but he's
Okay,
been.
let's look at the timeline here.
No, he was in the Senate when he was sanctioned.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and I think he might not be going for re-election reasons best known to himself.
Well,
But
I stand corrected. But
my point, I think my
yeah.
point is that
Mhm.
Senator Johnson is not the first person to be sanctioned in a Liberian
Okay.
Senate.
Mm-hmm.
But also I also wanted to add to what you said that when these things happen, it called for cautions on the part of the citizens. Okay, because a good friend of mine always said that what you tolerate, you get more of. If we are tired with corruption, if we are serious of changing our country, we cannot overlook these things. These things should mean a lot to us, and we should always mount the courage for us to act appropriately because Liberia is the only country we have. And if we
It is.
cannot represent the change that we want, we cannot, if we cannot speak against the things that we think that are wrong in a country, we continue to get more of that because we tolerate it. Okay.
Yes.
And that needs to change.
And Liberians now think that corruption is a way of life, it's a culture,
Exactly.
when it shouldn't be. Oh, that way
No.
we do it here. That way people can do their thing here. So that means over a period of time it's become acceptable now. And that it
Yeah,
become
that
a
whole
norm.
media, yeah,
So
it's a new norm.
so it's a new day. And I think these people need to take their sanctions seriously. 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 But thank you for the conversation on the topic.
Yeah. So let's move to
Oh my
this here.
God. You want us to participate in this one?
Listen to this. The reason this is interesting to me
Ah,
is because of what we just come from talking about,
yep.
right? Look, we no, no, no. We have to be serious in our country,
Whew.
most especially when it comes to building institutions. We have to be serious about that. Okay. Now, the way I wrote this on the screen is how it is.
Yeah.
Liberty Party National Executive Committee suspends political leader and others. Chairman Musa Belete alone did not suspend the political leader and the other people. It is the National Executive Committee that did that. I don't know any of you watched the press conference today. We're not going to spend
No.
a lot of time on this stuff, but let me just okay, Minister Kruma, sorry.
Yep.
But listen, the press conference today, the political leader in her statement, backed by other people, nullified the election of Musa Hassan Belete as chairman of Liberty Party. A decision that was made by the convention. Few people got together, they wrote a statement and they said they are notifying that decision. What? And these are people that want to be national leaders. Where are we going? What is going on here? Where are we going as a country? Every time you listen to Musa Belete speaks, he speaks of the National Executive Committee. He does not take decision until it is done by the NEC of Liberty Party. So with that statement that the political leader issued this morning, and Chairman Belete and the NEC are saying that she's suspended, she doesn't have voice, she doesn't have an office anymore, and the rest of the other people that are on the list are suspended. Where you think the Liberty Party is heading? What do you think will become of the Liberty Party?
You see me? So,
Yeah. Stop,
Let me begin
Minister
with you,
Command.
Minister Kramer.
Pastor Walu, there are two Liberty parties. One spearheaded by Nyobli and her clique. One Musa Hassan Belede. There's two constitutions for Liberty Party. One that the Nyobli and her crew follow. The other that Hassan Belede. There's a major in-house fight when it comes to the Liberty Party. That they will want to sweep it under the rug, but now it's beginning to stink and it's coming out. The only thing I think they should do is to either suspend that constitution, reform, and regroup and come back. But I don't see this. First of all, she is suspended, like you rightly said. But there are cliques. Musa Hassan Bede has his clique that he deals with. That when it's time for constitutional call and all this kind of thing, that people that he refers to that will be in his corner. So it's a major in-house fight. I don't see it being resolved in a kumbaya moment. It will take a lot. So the two Liberty Party right now. Help me, brother Moses. I tell you.
You know, it's funny that we see these things happen, and it's happened continuously in the past. And I've always stated that we don't have political institutions in Liberia. We got interest institutions.
Mm-mm. Yeah,
A political
social clubs.
party comes under one umbrella with a manifesto or philosophy. Individuals are people who go to Liberia and surround themselves with individuals calling themselves political parties. Example, Doe was part of the TRC, okay, the
Yeah.
PRC government. He overthrew the government when the time came for election. What was the political party, the name around Doe? NDPL.
NDPL.
Because they had not built an institution, NDPL does not exist today. Prior to NDPL, we had a two-way party. Since Tobo was killed and many of those people went into exile, Tory party has not revamped itself. And it was a one political party system until Toba took over and said we need to have multiple party system. When you talk about dysfunctional institutions, if they want to call them institutions, that's what we see with a capital D. Whereas anybody can get up and make a decision, just get a little group of people, give them $10 here, they jump the street. And they say, oh, the Liberty Party speaking. Look recently what happened with the Kroma Party. Where did they come from? Over the past, what? I say that's 12 plus 4, almost 5. Of the past 17 years, since 2016. Where have they been? Lately, they came up. So, with the Liberty Party being that dysfunctional, what happens to the people that represent the party per se, at the legislative level? If the party becomes dysfunctional, what happened with those folks? What happened with those folks? You see, that's why people need to understand we do not have political parties in Liberia.
I agree
Bronskin,
strongly.
Bronskin kept the party together.
Yeah,
Now that
but
he's no longer there, may his soul rest in peace. It took him a lot to keep that party together.
yeah,
And you will have people from other interest group come in and infiltrate other parties, then you don't have an institution. Nobody from the other side is supposed to come in. Musa Belete shouldn't be there disrupting thing anyway. He shouldn't be there disrupting stuff. And all of these things going on, and this goes for the Unity Party. This goes for all the political parties. And I can tell you, as soon as Cummings is out of the picture, that party will be gone. ANC will be gone. So we don't have institutions. We have interest groups coming together. And that's part of the corruption we're just talking about.
exactly.
It doesn't have to be,
that's
money corruption.
no, it
You
doesn't have
corrupt the
to.
mind of
It
the
doesn't have
people.
to. But in well, let me ask this.
You are not supposed to bring the topic on.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing about it though, the thing about it is
This is
this,
a can of
right?
worm.
The thing about it is this.
Yes.
We have the light in Senator Dillon in, in, in the Senate.
The Liberty Party.
And the light is also in Liberty Party. How can you shine light in the Senate and you cannot shine light in your party?
Yeah, party.
You know?
But that light has been dimmed anyway. With
Well,
too much lies.
that's not my issue. How dim the light is, or whether the light is dim at all. But the point I'm making here is this: you have Musa, you have Chairman Bilete, and Honorable Yombli Kaka Lawrence. When the late Charles Bronskin was alive, Charles Walker Bronskin 2017 elections, he made Musa Belete the face of that elections. In fact, according to Darius Dillon himself, because of the confidence that the late Bronskin had in Musa Belete, he created a position that never existed in Liberian politics just to accommodate Musa. Now, if you are saying that Musa is a rogue, Musa is a thief, Musa is a criminal, but the person you call your political godfather had this level of confidence in this person, What does say about you? All of them are calling Musa names. All of them are saying Musa is the problem. But to be honest with you, all of the discussions I have followed, Musa always, number one, referred to the NEC, the National Executive Committee, and he refers to the Constitution. They
Pastor
just
Wallo,
don't like, they just don't like what he is doing.
Pastor Wallo,
So to get rid of him, they would do any other thing for them to get rid of him. Now, if you have two Liberty Party now, who is the election commission going to recognize
Pastor
as
Wallo,
the Liberty Party?
Pastor Wallo. Can I come in?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
All right. You went back to the last election. After the first round, what happened? Let's go back to at least a little put a little let's try to analyze what happened
Yeah.
when Josh Weir and Burkhardt were the two top winner and going for a run-up. What happened with the Liberty Party? That was when the Liberty Party split.
Yeah.
Because what happened was that they were looking for Bromskin to endorse one of the two. And what did Bromskin say? He went openly, had a press conference, and said he was not going to endorse the Omer or Weir, but he left the political party leaders to decide on who they were going to vote for. As a leader, you see, when you don't have um, a build interest in a political party, those are things that happen because you don't have things set in stone. You don't look at the leadership area and put standards on who becomes the leader for the political party, so to call it in Liberia. Anybody can come from anywhere. If they got money, they go to Liberty Party right now and say, I got $5 million. I want to come to the Liberty Party. I want to do this and this. They tell them go ahead because everybody there want to get a piece of that $5 million, and you can buy it whatever you want. That part of the conversation we just had earlier. Corruption. Everyone in Liberia, most people in Liberia are compromised. They owe one another to the sense that the bill clicks. So when you talk about these people who are there in Bromskin, Bromskin should have made a conscious decisions for the political party. They wanted him to do it. Now that, and I said, may his soul rest in peace. Now that he's gone and they don't have anything in documentation, ability will continue to use the Constitution because Bromskin appointed him and no one can get him out. And they don't even know to meet at a convention to debate the issue and come to a consensus agreement
Because
and redirect the political party. So
let me,
sooner or later, like Kroma said, the minister said they got two Liberty Party, the third one will soon happen.
well, let me say that Chairman Billete was elected in a convention after Councillor
Ah,
Bronskin
my
died.
brother. Oh my God. My
Okay,
God. Okay,
and
so you actually believe, Pastor Waller, you actually believe that the convention and all the deal I think those people can be doing over there, you actually believe that that went well?
oh no, I'm saying that he was not appointed by Councillor Bronskin. He was elected in a convention, and all the people that are against him today supported him. Okay, but my point is, Yomli Kaka Lawrence, Chairman Billete, they are the most two important people when it comes to the leadership of the Loyalty Party. The political leader should be able, right, to get along with everybody, regardless how difficult they are. find a
It's
way to get along with your chairman. Don't split this party in the name of being a political leader. Now,
provided if you have a standard.
yes, I
If
think
you
Chairman Belete is setting that standard.
if you have a standard, and there's certain guidelines that that political party has set that you have to be at. Because you got elected doesn't mean you over the political party. You see, and
Well,
that's something that people don't understand. But
no,
the
no,
thing
no,
when the person
but
elected,
no, no, no,
then
no,
the
no, no,
person
no. The
can
standard you're
dictate to the
talking about,
party.
Moses, Chairman Belete is the one that is setting that standard. He is the one that is setting that standard because he doesn't speak for I. He speak for us. He speak for the
That standard should
NEC.
have been set long before he became chairman.
Oh, but you can hold him responsible for the standard not being set.
You see,
You
so
can
that's
hold him
why there's
responsible for
confusion with
that.
the leadership and now. You can't single-handedly go and do things.
That's an individual style of leadership. That's how
He
he runs his
operates.
affair. But at the
You
end of the
see,
day, yeah, at the end of the day, the party, like Pastor Wally, you said, the two just need to come together and see the better good for the party. Other than that, it will just be your clique and my clique, and there's no easy end to it.
and
Yeah,
that's the
maybe,
Yeah.
beginning.
maybe,
That's the
maybe they
beginning
will
to the
come
end.
together when the CPP convention finish, and the CPP get a standard bearer. Maybe that's when they'll come together because I think the way the party is split between the two candidates for the standard bearership of the CPP.
You hope.
I think that's part of what is going on.
Yeah.
Well, you hope that they will
it,
come together.
I hope
but,
so.
but Pastor Wallo,
I hope so.
that would be a big hope because it's because of all these small in-house now. Mind you, now PCC. I mean, the CPP is all these different parties coming together. If all of these parties are having their own little fights, the CPP cannot come together because
Thank
what
you.
will make them come together?
Thank you.
I mean, I don't see that
So
No,
fact.
how
because
do you
because
see?
the thing is the chairman and the political leader, they have a conflicting interest. Okay, they have a conflicting interest, and that's why they are not getting along because Chairman Belete want to go one way, uh, uh, Senator Kanka Lawrence want
Nyombi.
to go the other way. Okay, and now they are trying to prove who really controls the Liberty Party. That's what
But
this thing is
but but,
about. And the
but Pastor
reason,
Wallo,
one second, let me end. You are coming. And the reason Yomli Kanka Lawrence is going back to the 2015 Constitution is because that Constitution gave her more power. And the reason Chairman Belete is sticking with the 2021 Constitution is that Constitution gave
Senator
him
Walker
more
Constitution.
power.
Right.
So it is the power
Two
game.
parties.
Chairman Belete wants to take the party to this candidate, while Yomdi Kanka wants to take the party to the other candidate. And that's the issue. That's the issue they are struggling with.
well, it's not going to happen until the two minds come together and collectively, with all the members of the party, decide at a conference or convention the rules. And you see, one of the things that we don't do is that we make people leaders, but we don't set rules for them too to follow with the political party. If you're affiliated with a political party, there should be certain moral values that you should come with and you should maintain. You can't represent a party. You go to the House of Representatives every day. You cussing the people. You can't attend meetings. You can't even vote on bills. Those are things that are imperative in political parties. That's why I keep saying we don't have political parties. We got interest groups. So as a result, anybody can build their own political party around an individual. When I have an individual is gone, everything chakla. Literally saying it. If they have standards set and rules and regulations set, nobody would be doing this. So that constitution that came out in 2000, you said 2015, and the constitution for 2000, what instigated a new constitution? What instigated a new constitution in 2021?
Okay, so
Yep. In the
according
first
You
to
place.
see,
them,
and in the
Yep.
first place. So
according to
that
them,
was the split
Yep.
right there.
no. According to them, the reason they needed a new constitution is because the first constitution gave the political leader more power, and that was so because the political leader they had was the founder of the party. Since the founder of the party, who was the political leader, was no longer in the picture, and this was something that the party have always been asking for, they seized the opportunity for them now to decentralize the power of the party. And that's exactly what they did. They did this thing together. But when Chairman Benedict started to use the power that the Constitution gives him, they didn't like it. They
You
didn't like
see,
it.
you see, the thing about it is people don't understand what political parties are. You got the National Committee, Democratic chair, right? In this country, the National Democratic chair only speak on democratic issues and principles when it comes to governing. He's not over Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the president of the United States of America, the most powerful man in the world today. The Democratic Party respects that because it's under their umbrella that he became the president. That does not mean that the sitting national chair for the Democratic Committee, the Democratic Party, can go and dictate to Joe Biden what needs to happen. So that's precisely what I'm talking about. The idea of going and changing the Constitution and writing a new Constitution was totally, again, it had to do with interests. There's certain people that had interest in writing a new Constitution, like you rightfully said, because the man who founded the party gave himself all the power, and he ran it by himself. And that's what I say. We do not have institutions.
Yeah, but Moses, they amended the Constitution. They didn't write a
Okay,
new
now you're
Constitution.
talking. Now you talk. So the amendment, you amend the old Constitution. You kept
Right.
some things in there because when they talk about changing the Constitution completely, that's a different ball game. If they amended the Constitution, then that amendment of that Constitution had to have met the agreement at the convention. And that means everyone needs to abide by it. But again, when
That's
they don't
correct.
set the standard for anybody, and I don't know what the Constitution looked like, but if you read that Constitution, you yourself will find flaws in it because that's the same Constitution used what his name, Benedict is using against the leadership now. You see, he's using
Yeah,
it against the leadership, so that means
yeah.
that the Constitution has a flaw in it. It has a
What
flaw
a
in it.
flaw it has in it.
It should for him to challenge the people who are already being elected in office.
No, he's not challenging them. He
Well,
suspended. Well,
why
the
you
NEC
think this?
suspended
Listen,
the political leader in order
how can
because
this
they didn't
guy
pay
alone
dues.
suspend the
And
entire leadership?
the due payment clause is in all of the constitution. Even the 2017 and 2015
They need
constitution
to
is
revisit
there.
that. They need to do research and revisit that. The other day, let me
They,
let
they,
me throw this.
they,
Let me
they,
let me throw this out too. Didn't you hear that Modiba Malou suspended all the leadership in all the counties with the exception of Maserati?
yeah,
Yeah,
Did you
yeah,
hear that?
yeah,
So you telling me
yeah.
you see that political parties they have?
Well, 15 of
Somebody
them
can
or
just
so.
single-handedly do that? Come on, brother. Come on. There's a
yeah,
process. If you want to suspend anyone, there's a
yeah. But the
that
thing
needs to
though is
be
that
there are certain process people need to go through before you can suspend anyone.
yeah,
And
but
there's
the
certain
process
things
was
that
followed.
oh my brother,
Chairman Benedict
man.
followed the
For
process.
due. Suspend the political party chair for due payment.
Yeah,
But blindside, close your eyes on the other goodwill that she's been bringing to the party.
that was
It's
I think that was going too far. But again, it happens again.
right.
It happens because they are not getting along. So every little thing chairmanability
It
see
become
as,
it's
you know,
personal.
This person used that power.
exactly.
It's a
Every
power
little
thing,
thing that he
But
sees
power
that,
that he can
struggle.
use against the political leader, he use it, you know,
but that's what I'm
because
saying.
of the relationship that exists between them. And until they can fix it between them, Loyalty Party will not come together. You
No,
know,
they were
Loyalty
not.
Party will not
And
come
you got
together.
Delon, you got Delon there making things worse too. So at the end of the day, let's see how far they
What
go.
do you mean by that?
Is Delon helping the party? Delon is suspended. So at the end of the day, he and Musa Hassan been having this strife from day one. They will not see eye to eye. Then you go test Nyomli. It's not
So
helping the party.
so the senators now, the people in the Senate
Yeah,
who
Pastor
represent the
Oli.
party in the Senate are being suspended by the party
Yes.
leadership. They
Uh,
suspend.
Produced.
You see, that's what this is a
Pastor Oli,
disgrace.
why you started the conversation?
This is a
It's gonna.
disgrace. You are gonna suspend someone in elected in an office representing your party.
Mhm.
So who do you take your issues to debate on the floor? If you suspend them.
well,
If the party
Uncle
has
Moses,
listen,
In
let me
the
just finish.
in
Let me
this
just finish.
country,
Wait a minute. If
when
wait,
an elected official does something, they ask for your resignation. They don't
well,
even suspend you. They
Yeah, they
ask
go
you
to the
to
constitution
resign.
and punish you.
Whether you were serving in Congress or
Yeah.
you were a secretary, they ask you to resign, regardless of where you serve. They
well, yeah,
ask you
what
to
it is though.
resign.
Yeah, but that comes with something. First, it comes with the committee. You can write the committee to investigate and say this person violated X, Y, and Z. It has to be criminal for them to get kicked off the
And it
Senate.
has to be proven.
It has to be proven. Now,
How about Al
whoa,
Yeah.
wait a minute
Franklin?
now. Wait a
Al
minute.
Franklin
Wait
from
a minute.
Minnesota. He
Wait a
just
minute.
posted
Wait
a
a
video.
minute.
He just posted a picture of of a lady that he took picture with, and
Who?
I think he make a little joke on this something. They asked a man to resign from Congress.
Of course.
It was nothing criminal.
No, but it can't. But listen. Yes, it is for a little girl. Pornography.
No. It was not a little girl. It was a woman.
What? Yeah.
I
Wait
think
a minute.
somebody's
Wait a
wife or
minute. Wait
so.
a minute.
If I
That is here. What the situation is. You need to get the detail of what happened. The congressional leaders, their action to remove you from any committee is on the congressional side. The political party and the people, the constituents that you represent, have the right to keep you there because you were elected. They will not dismiss you. They always wait until re-election. They put pressure on you to resign. When you resign, that becomes an open seat. Then they need to go through the electoral process and see who can run for that office. Okay, so that's how the system, that's how the process works. But in Abra,
We have to move
now,
on to
but
our final topic for
in
tonight. We out
LRB,
of time, Uncle
in,
Moses. We have to
wait a
move on.
minute,
But
in LRB, in
before we
LRB,
move on, let me ask you this. And you and Minister Krumah, your advice to Yombli Kanka Lawrence and Musa Hassan Belete.
what I would say to Musa Hassan Belade is to reinstate, if he has the power to do that, and it wasn't done indiscriminately, they need to reinstate the sanction and wait and meet and have a discussion. And in the next term of office, if they want to pick a new candidate to run, they can do that. But if this person have not committed any heinous crime, they will remain in that seat. Now, to have your representative sitting in the Senate and they're suspended by the party, by the political party, and not affiliated, you will not promote your plaque that you've created as to why that person ran under your ticket. That person is not going to be able to advocate because they're not representing you in the Senate. They're representing just the people that voted for them. But you have a plot that this person ran under, and you need to think about this person running if it's what women issues that they went on, and that's what Liberty Party stand for, and you suspend that person, how do you support that person to continue to advocate for women issues? So they need to compromise and make sure they hold together. And in an event that they go to a convention, they can bring all of these things out and say, we don't want this person running anymore for this district. We want to pick another candidate, and somebody that can challenge the person in your own primary, in your own convention, and you can change the person running for that district. That would be
Mr.
my
Coleman,
advice.
your advice to
Well,
Johnny Kagan Lawrence and Musa Hassan
yeah,
Meleke.
Pastor Holiday, this thing is clear. It's ego. It's two individuals playing the ego to the strongest. If they both can just, for the betterment of the party, just let go the ego, they sit down, we have a lunch over these things. It's a minor thing. I think the party is a good party, but there's two ego. You got the two big elephant in the room. Somebody want to be, over the next person. If they can both work on the ego, the party moves on. Yeah,
But two elephant fight that the grass can suffer.
Yeah,
that's what
and
happening.
and the fact that the late Councillor Bronsky had confidence in Chairman Ability and
You not go
also
back to that thing again.
had confidence in Yomli Kaka Lawrence. That means
When you
that
think
he
he
trusted
winding
the
down,
both of
then he
them
flares something.
to
Yeah,
lead
I
this
know. You not go
party,
back to that thing
to
again.
secure his legacy. So the two of them need to come together, work together, and move the party forward. So
You did.
my
Yeah.
advice to both of them is let them put Liberia first, because Liberty Party is needed for good politicking in Liberia. Liberty Party is a very good party. We need Liberty Party in the opposition bloc. We need them to be a stronger and, and stable party for us to have a good and a strong opposition political parties. So that is
And breaking news,
my last word on that. Now
and
we're just going
breaking
to
news,
brush over this one here quickly.
breaking news, breaking news. I'm looking at joining the Liberty Party, but they have to clean the house before I enter. So I
Well,
tell you,
Chairman Belito will love to have you.
You
oh
know, this
God,
man, yeah, capability business. There's something where you have capability, you will not be there.
the pastor where the pastor.
The pastor, what? Why you capability at?
Chairman Belito will receive you with an open arms.
This ability man, yeah, people
Oh
be talking
God,
about him when it comes to, you know what, the football thing and all that stuff like that. That man, I'll go a lot of places. So.
No, we're not
nah
gonna
man.
do that. We're not gonna do that one tonight. Well,
Okay.
let's talk about the newest person in the presidential race. Councillor
Oh,
Tiawon Gonglo. He enters the presidential race.
Jawon Gonglo,
Yeah. Who is he? Do you know
Jawon
who he
Gonglo
is?
man.
He's running on the ticket of the Labyrinth People's Party. Have any of you listened to him?
well,
Yeah,
I follow
I
him. I follow him for a little bit,
have.
and the counselor, that is someone that I have one of the highest respect for because of his integrity, because what he has done, his works have shown some level of respect to the powers to be. Everywhere he served, he's done excellent job. The recent human rights report submitted to the State Department and the rest of the world, he masterminded the whole thing, and he was on point more objectively than anybody I have seen writing any report of Liberia. I read that document twice, and I can tell you that he's a man with the kind of character that Liberia needs. Having said that, we need to know that everybody that comes, we have our own individual talent. And there are just some people who are so committed to doing things. And you see, the mistake that George Weah did is running for president. This young man had the power to change Liberia through other means, but he ignored it and he had his eye on the ball of being president. And today he's there, and I can tell you, he's pouring his head apart. And every day that guy wakes up, I don't know if he goes to sleep peacefully with all the things, the responsibility that come with the presidency.
Ah, somebody who writing music, they gotta be sleeping to have good lyrics.
I'm not saying this to downplay Tawan Gonglo
Yeah, yeah.
ambition to be president, but I think if he would have asked me where I think, or he would ask my 2 cents, or if he would accept my 2 cents, I think this man can make, with his objective mind, one of the best in the world Chief Justice. Instead of running for president, that would really tie his hand in doing certain things. As Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia, you can change the whole trajectory of that nation and set that nation on a better path, because that is so needed. That is so needed.
I
I'm not sure why he's running for president. Um, and we know in the past that people put their name there because at the final analysis they want to be recognized. But I would say no, this is not Tawan Gonglo's intention. From the men that I know to be recognized for other positions, I would say no. I would not think of him that way, and I don't think that's what he's thinking. But I
almost
think he would make a great, great Chief Justice and change the whole judicial system in that country. That's my thing.
yeah, Mr. Kruma, before you come in, uh, number one, I think you were very objective from your statement, but this is what I'm happy about. You did not question his integrity, his character. You did not question his intentions. You did not question his ability to lead, his qualification to lead. You did not question none of that. You see him as a true Liberian, you see him as a patriotic citizen, you see him as someone who has made an enormous contribution to our country and
Yeah,
can still make an enormous contribution to our country. The only thing I hear you say is that it can be done in a different sector except for the
In a
president.
different way.
So I respect that. I love to hear that. From my standpoint, that's what I look for. I want to see good intended Liberians get in the presidential race, give the people more options, let us validate everybody, get to know everybody, and maybe the time will come for them to form alliances, for them to for them to have, because Tewan Gogre could be a very good vice president to somebody, he could be a very good running mate to somebody.
absolutely.
I don't know that. I don't know whether he will be willing to do that.
Yeah.
But that could be a discussion. And at the same time, it is no guarantee that if he does not run, a president will choose him as even
Chief
for
Justice.
Chief Justice. Okay, I think I remember. I think I remember hearing him say that the former president Ellen Johnson Sirleaf intended to do that, but he refused that position. So, but
You
I
say
listened
you
to
say
him.
that was because of the time it happened. True.
Okay, okay,
The
okay.
time it
Yeah, he
happened.
said it was
The
because
time
of
it
the time.
happened.
Yeah, that's true.
The timing.
But But
Everything
my
is
point,
important.
my point is that
I agree.
nobody can question his character.
No,
Nobody can question his intentions. Nobody can
no,
question his qualification.
no.
And so let's see what happens. Let's see how far he goes, because I think he's a very good guy. Okay, I listened to him. He wants to return the country back to the Tauber policy. I thought you are going to like hearing that because you talk a lot about Tauber.
Well,
So I thought you are going to
I have
like
not
hearing
listened.
that.
I have
But you
not
want to
listened to
return
some
the
of them.
country back to the Tauber policy, to take the people from mat to mattress. He said it works in the past. He doesn't have to reinvent the wheel.
No,
He
he
can go
doesn't.
back to the policy. And then, there are some other things he's going to polish, but that's why he want to take the country. So I'm looking forward to hearing more of that. But I think he's a good guy, and he should be listened to.
Of course, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. And what happened is that I just gave you my little narrative based on the person that I know, not on his speech, because I've now had the opportunity to listen to what he said. So I couldn't, respond to what he said. But I was just speaking basically on the individual that I've come to know. When he was here in school for a short time, I met with him. He and myself interacted a little bit. And he's done some publication of some document and writings that are very responsible, and he's highly respected around the world too. He comes with that huge respect. So you need people in this arena, like you rightfully said, Pastor, that people running for president needs to have a character and certain charisma and certain quality that they bring to that seat. Not just no Joe Blow coming in and just say I'm running. And that's what we find ourselves today. And that basically, when people start to look at the credentials, when he set that bar high like that, then other people will start thinking, oh, if I go there, I'm challenging men like this. I don't think I can even touch that guy. And I think it's important for him to do that, so we
Right.
can have that kind of character of people to
Yeah.
choose from. And I
Right.
think it's a decent thing, but I think he would be more effective, and he can change that country from the judicial area. That's my own assessment. I'm not saying that's what I want him to do, but
Right. No, no. I mean, I think you are very clear on that, Minister Kraman. Uh, what's your take on
Yeah,
that
for
before we close?
well, briefly, I did not follow the guy up until recently. I knew he had worked in the early government and resigned for some reason. But he's very one of the reasons why one of the things I like the guy about following him, for this time, he's a very religious guy. He's very big on his religion. He's very good. He's a God fearing man, and he is a big, big, big corruption fighter. All this corruption thing we were talking about, he's very big on corruption. Taron Congo is a zero tolerance guy when it comes to corruption. That really attracted me to him. Now, as far as the political timing that he's entering the race, I would say Taron Congo is a spoiler. He's going to be a spoiler if it stays this way. It just said the sport thing, it will take away from a lot of these different guys, if you know what I mean. But
He's
if
from Nima
Cummins is
County.
a smart man, yeah, so that's I wouldn't go too deep in that. But if Cummins is a smart man, I see Taiwan and Cummins be making a very good team, and I leave it there.
Well, by
I
the
rest
way,
my case on that.
Kwame is a very he's a smart man.
Cummins is a very smart man, and so is Taiwan. If the two can just link up, that water is being stirred, man.
How
Yeah.
about Buakai?
You know, Pastor Wano, me and irrespective of which other political party come down and throw their hat in the race, 2023 is between the CPP and CDC. That's it. So
That is
if
when the CPP
Cummins is
rules,
smart,
right?
if the CPP holds, yes, but we know that's what it's going to come down to. The two of those parties going loggerhead, right? Now, if Cummins is smart,
You
get
know what?
out,
Listen
put
to me.
this.
You talk
From
about
this line.
you talk about coming being smart on somebody is just smart. He doesn't want to say
Yeah, which I know.
he
No,
doesn't
no. All
want
due
to say
respect to comments,
anything.
I know comments are smart man. No, no. I know comments are smart man. And on the same way, yeah, we either love me for this.
No, you appreciate it. Every say Joseph
Taiwan
Papa is
Gonglo.
smarter.
Well, not to take away anything from the old man, but I know Cummings is a smart man out there. Not to take away anything from the old man, but I see Cummings and Taiwan being one of the political heavyweights. If the two should merge, that would be something else. But right now, he's just coming in. I don't know, man. I don't see that clear pathway for him being president right now, and that's my opinion.
Okay, let me just tap into this other conversation.
I wanted to hear you speak. I wanted to tease you a little bit.
I know you're trying to pick my brains a little bit, but here what it is. Here what it is. Having thought about our country, and I was there in March of this year and so forth, and having been studying the politics in Liberia, Liberia needs someone who loves that country. We need a leader
Yes.
who can listen. We need a leader who can make decisions based on the greater good of all. And there are people. I was in class with some friends. Someone being smart does not make you a leader.
A leader, yeah, I agree.
You can be smarter than anything. You can be a wizard. But guess what? It takes your style and your decision-making style and the way that you love
Be
your
a good
people
leader.
to lead them. We all come with individual talents. And people who can gather the different talent so that we can form a partnership for the greater good of all and not for individual self is what Liberia needs right now.
Right now, yeah.
You see, and that's why I was very careful on responding to the pastor's question about Tewan Gonglo. The man can cook cassava leaf. I'm not going to ask him to cook pan butter for me. I would go to that man every day and ask him, please cook my cassava leaf. One of my big brothers usually say. We all don't know it all. We need a leader that will bring the minds together and listen to put that country first. Because if you don't do that with all the smartness and we put somebody in there who will only be smart to think about themselves and think about a particular group of individuals and not for the masses, then we're back to the same place that we've always been.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at smartness in people. I'm looking at leadership. Who can bring
Yeah.
people together?
Yeah.
Who can listen to
Love for
people?
people, yeah.
Who love that country first?
Yeah.
Who in their character, in their lifetime, has proven record of making something. Like Tawan Gonglo, he has proven record. Plenty. Of
We have a lot of people in the race that have proven record.
For Liberia.
Yeah. So we have
proven record.
We'll have a good field of candidates.
Yes.
We'll have a good field of candidates.
You got Ome Bokai. I don't know for Cummings because I have my own reservation.
No, you can put Cummings among that group. He has a proven record.
Well, let me tell you something. What proven record he has for advocating for Liberia?
Which what proven record with Coca-Cola?
Proven record with Coca-Cola. That's a business entity, folks. What did he do for Liberian people?
No. We are talking about. I thought you're talking about proven record of getting something done. Now, let me say this: being a president. Being a president. One second. Being a president.
One second.
Being a president requires you to be a problem solver.
Thank you.
Okay,
An
and
administrator.
that's part of what that's part of the credential Cummings bring when he runs for president.
What is
Okay,
that? Problem solving?
yes,
What problem have
problem
you
solving
solved?
is huge
Pastor
of you
Wallo,
being a
managing
president.
your business is different from
What
managing your
problem
country,
did he
Pastor Wallo.
solve? Pastor Waddle, working for a Coca-Cola, what problem was solved?
Oh
He
no,
was just on
oh
an
okay,
executive board, but the problem,
You
you
see,
know,
that's
well,
not, you see, my people, listen.
no, hold on,
Listen,
hold on, let's go one at a
hold
time.
on, hold on, hold on.
Our time is
Now we having a
passing.
debate.
Pastor,
If you want
Pastor Wallo,
if you want to go into all of that, yes, we can do
let's
that.
dive into this.
Okay,
Okay,
Let's dive
we
into
let's
this.
delay
can
for
do
another
that.
day.
Okay, but let's plan it so we can do it in an orderly fashion, so so we
Yes,
can hear ourselves.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
our time, if I spend, we are over 25 minutes
Two
above
hours.
our time. But let me say that I think the 2023 and representative and presidential elections, we're going to get good field
Very
of
interesting.
candidates that we can evaluate and we can choose from, and that's a good thing. We need competition in our politics among good people that have good records and have a track record of getting things done.
yeah,
So that's
yeah,
a good thing.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to give you your last word for us to close, and then Minister Kramer.
No, thank you very much. I think it was a very good, meaningful conversation, even though we went over. And stay wait for us to have our debate on the caliber of candidates that we have. And
Oh God, yeah.
we didn't talk about something. I think you had spoken about it prior to us coming in, and that's the issue with
Mirror,
Mirabel.
bro.
And and we can talk about that. We can table
I
that
was
for
waiting
another
for that
time.
one.
But why I have the platform, let me just say this real quick. I think the focus on Liberia for their 2022 plaque is not to clean the city. It's basically to look at security sector, as Torba did when he hosted the OAU. The OAU hosted in Liberia in 1976 or 78. The focus was security for those people, those foreign leaders coming in, and all of that stuff. So we need to look at not only clean the city, but we need to look at security if we're going to invite people from out of our country to come in groves like we expect, that we try to, like we anticipate in the next year or so. So security, security, security. Can't emphasize more on that. And thank you for this opportunity. We'll talk about that more next time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Minister Kramer.
Well, first I want to say thanks again, Pastor Wallo, for hosting a beautiful show. It's just this issue of the sanction thing. I would like to just advise our political leaders to take seriously, because it is one door that will open a floodgate of different things coming to Liberia, and if they don't follow through, Liberia only have a shock coming to her, and we don't want what the repercussion would be. So I just want them to take this sanction thing serious. I believe that America is up to something. What it is, I don't know. We will wait for the evidence, so they should take it serious. And that's all I have to say for that.
Well, gentlemen, thank you. Your input make the show a success today, and I look forward to talking to you people next week, Saturday. And for our viewers, thank you for following. Please share our videos if you come across it. We also want to hear from you. We want to say a big thank you for liking our page as well. Um, until next week, we remain in prayers with you, and we hope and pray that you have a blessed and godly week. Have a wonderful service tomorrow, and please let us hear from you from our questions today. God bless you, Somebody, God bless you, Mr. Kroman, God bless you, and thank you, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks, Moses. Take
Blessings,
care.
blessings, blessings.